Hey guys, Tion here back again with another challenge video. Last time we took on Pokemon Emerald with only a Farfetch, and that was a fun challenge. Today we return to Pokemon FireRed and find out, can you beat Pokemon FireRed with only a Wooper? Taking a look at Wooper's stats, they are absolutely awful. Wooper's highest stat is its health, followed by its attack and defense at 45. Our special attack and special defense is absolutely garbage. Since Wooper is water/ground, if we get hit with a grass move along with that special defense stat, we are done for. Our speed stat is also a staggering 15, which is absolutely ridiculous. We are not going to outspeed anything unless we are severely overleveled. Although taking a look at Wooper's learn set, it's actually not too bad. Wooper learns Earthquake at level 36, which is an extremely good move. It also looks like we start off with Water Gun, which is definitely going to be helpful taking on Brock. Wooper could also learn a very good variety of HM/TM moves, so we definitely don't have to worry about type coverage. These are actually some pretty good moves. And with Wooper's stats and moves out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the rules of this run. Rule number 1 is no using other Pokemon in battle besides Wooper. Now we will have to catch HM slaves in order to progress through the game, but they will not be used in battle. Rule number 2 is no using items in battle. Held items are going to be allowed though. And besides getting Wooper in the beginning, there will be no hacking or cheating of any kind. And with the rules out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into the run. So of course, like at the beginning of every game, we name ourselves Tion, but this time our rival is going to be Zwiggo because Zwiggo stole HM Boy from us and we must get him back. Eventually, Professor Oak saves us from running into the tall grass and he gives us our starter Pokemon Wooper. We replace Squirtle, so our rival will have Bulbasaur, giving us the hardest challenge throughout this run. We receive our female Wooper and name it Small Blue for no reason whatsoever. The only attacking move we have at this point is Water Gun, and of course Water Gun doesn't do anything to Bulbasaur, so we end up losing our first rival battle. Luckily it's not required, so we move on. Eventually we make it out of Viridian Forest at level 13 and decide to challenge Brock. Since we already have Water Gun, I know that's not going to be too hard. We take out Geodude with one Water Gun, and next up is Onix at level 14, who hits us with a critical tackle, but it doesn't do enough damage as we finish it off in only 2 Water Guns, and just like that, the first gym badge is ours. I'm really happy we started out with Water Gun. Next up is Mount Moon, and after a kind of close battle with the Super Nerd, we end up taking the victory with only 10 HP left while we're poisoned, but of course we have to choose a fossil. I end up taking the Helix fossil. Insert MDB joke here. Once we make it out of Mount Moon, it's apparent to us that we cannot beat our rival as we cannot even get past this Pidgeotto. It takes forever, but eventually we grind up to level 25. Along the way of grinding, we also learn Mudshot and decide to go take on Misty instead of our rival. Mudshot does just over half HP to Staryu, so we're easily able to take it out in a couple Mudshots. Next up is Starmie though, which is definitely going to cause an issue. Starmie can't actually hit us with a Water Pulse since our ability is Water Absorb. That means every single time we get hit with a water attack, we actually get HP instead of lose it. This battle was mainly difficult because Starmie had Recover and we can't have any healing items, so we just end up losing, slowly going down to Swift. But luckily on this run we get 3 lucky Mudshot rolls and that's enough to take it out. Finally, after countless attempts, we end up beating Misty, getting the Cascade badge. Next up is our rival. I came into this fight vastly overleveled and it's still awful to do. Since we can't hit Pidgeotto with a Mudshot, we're stuck with our weak Water Gun and Slam. After getting hit with Sand Attack, we eventually take out Pidgeotto and Bulbasaur misses its Sleep Powder, giving us an opportunity to take it out. Now with his 2 threats out of the way, this should be an easy battle. Since we got hit with so many Sand Attacks, we literally cannot land a Mudshot, and it's just absolutely ridiculous since Mudshot has 100% accuracy. Eventually, for no reason, I switched to Water Gun, which has the same accuracy, and we end up hitting Abra, almost taking it out with a critical hit as we finish it off with another Water Gun. We switch back to Mudshot, hoping it actually connects this time, and it does, and we're able to take out Rattata, beating our rival. Now that we beat our rival, we have to go through Nugget Bridge and get the SS ticket from Bill. Wooper is easily able to take out anyone in our way, and eventually make it to Bill's house and receive the SS ticket. We also end up stealing a stolen TM from this Rocket Grunt and make our getaway. At level 31, Wooper wants to learn Yawn, which is a pretty good move. It does take a turn, but eventually it does put the opponent to sleep, which we could definitely use to our advantage. We eventually make it to level 36, where we learn Earthquake and have to take on a rival once again on the SS Sand. We end up getting Sand Attack once again, but we do end up setting up a couple Amnesias so we could actually take a special attack hit from Ivysaur. Kadabra was kind of an issue, but eventually we end up taking it out with a few Water Guns, and just like that, we defeated our rival once again. These rival battles are only getting harder and harder. We then go see the captain and cure him of his seasickness, and he gives us the HM01 cut. We then catch a Spearow and name it Subscribe so we could go get Chiding. I always end up trading to get Chiding because I can learn Fly and Cut. It's time for Lieutenant Surge. Lieutenant Surge leads off with a level 21 Voltorb, which of course is faster than Small Blue, but we're able to take it out with an Earthquake. Next up is Pikachu at level 18, who uses Quick Attack, and we're able to finish it off with an Earthquake as well. Next up is Raichu at at level 24, who of course goes down to 1 earthquake. Since we're part ground, that definitely made this battle a lot easier since he wasn't able to hit us with any of his main moves. Next up is Rock Tunnel, and it's not going to be that bad considering we have a water type. It takes a very long time like always, but eventually we find our way out of Rock Tunnel. Next, I decided to do the Rocket Hideout. After defeating the Rocket Grunt, we find a button behind the poster and press it. Once we're inside, we defeat another Rocket Grunt and he drops the lift key, giving us access to fight Giovanni. At this point, we are level 43, which is extremely strong for this part of the game. Giovanni leads off with a level 25 Onyx who goes down to 1 earthquake. Next up is Rhyhorn at level 24 who also goes down to 1 earthquake. Next out is a level 29 Kangaskhan who leads off with a fake out, doing a little bit of damage. He then hits us with Tail Whip as we hit him with a earthquake, doing a good amount of damage as we end up flinching because of bite. We get hit with another Tail Whip and we are able to finish off Kangaskhan with 1 more earthquake, defeating Giovanni. And once you defeat Giovanni, of course he does drop the Silph Scope and we're able to go into the Lost Tower. I also end up replacing Water Gun for Water Pulse. Water Pulse does 20 more damage than Water Gun and also has a slight % chance to confuse the opponent. Since we are level 47 at this point, Erica was super easy. We just use Earthquake to take out her Victory Bell and Vileplume, and Tangela almost goes down to 1 earthquake as well. For some reason, instead of going for Giga Drain, Tangela goes for Poison Powder, giving us another turn to use Earthquake, easily taking it out and defeating Erica. Next up is the Lost Tower. We get super lucky in this run. We end up using Water Pulse on Pidgeotto, it hits itself in confusion and then we take it out. Ivysaur gets taken out with 1 earthquake and Gyarados is the issue. I end up putting Gyarados to sleep with Tion as we only take a little bit of damage. As we use Water Pulse over and over and over again, it doesn't do too much damage, but it does just enough in order to take out Gyarados. Next out is a level 22 Growlithe who does have Intimidate as we take it out with 1 earthquake. Next up is Kadabra. Kadabra has poor physical defense, so we're easily able to take it out with 1 earthquake, and just like that, we beat our rival once again. We then defeat the Rocket Grunts at the top of the Lost Tower and get Mr. Fuji. He then gives us the Poke Flute, which is definitely going to be helpful. Next we go to Fuchsia City where we pick up the Golden Teeth so we can give it to the Warden and get HM Strength, and we also do pick up the TM for Double Team. We then pick up the HM Surf. Surf is going to be a lot more useful than Water Pulse. Next up is Koga, the Poison type gym leader, and he's definitely not going to be a pushover. Koga leads off with a level 37 Coughing who goes down to 1 Surf. Next out is a level 39 Muck who loves to use Minimize, but luckily we're able to take it out with 1 earthquake. Next out is Koga's level 37 Coughing who barely hangs on from a Surf and then hits us with a Sludge, luckily not poisoning us. We keep hitting Coughing with a Surf, bringing it into red as Koga heals it up with a Hyper Potion, and eventually he runs out of Hyper Potions and we take out Coughing. Last out was Weezing at level 43 who tries to poison us using Sludge, but to no avail as he goes for Smokescreen trying to make us miss, but we end up hitting our last Surf, taking out Weezing. Now that Koga's out of the way, we're gonna go try our rival in the Silph building. We then catch 30 Pokemon so we can get the item finder and get Leftovers. Leftovers is by far one of the best held items in the entire game. Now that we have Leftovers, we're gonna go try the rival. In order to beat a rival in Silph Co, everything had to go right. We had to keep trying until Pidgeot did not go for Feather Dance. If Pidgeot used Feather Dance, it would cause us an issue because it would drop our attack by 2 stages. Luckily, Pidgeot goes for Wing Attack for a couple of turns instead of Feather Dance, giving us an opportunity to set up a few Amnesias for Venusaur. We almost got all of our Amnesias set up as Pidgeot ends up waking up and hitting us with a Wing Attack. Now it really doesn't do that much damage because we do have Leftovers, and with a couple more Surfs we're able to take out Pidgeot. Once we take out Pidgeot, next up is Venusaur. Now we do have 3 Amnesias set up, so that means plus 6 special defense, and for some reason Venusaur goes for Sweet Scent. I am not complaining. Venusaur goes for Sleep Powder here, connecting, so that means we are both asleep, but we actually end up waking. We only have 1 turn of sleep, which is really lucky on our part, and we're able to take out Venusaur with an Earthquake. Next out is Gyarados at level 38 who has Intimidate and lowers our attack by 1 stage, but we end up putting this thing to sleep and spamming Surf, and it's not doing too much damage, but once again it does just enough to do the job. Gyarados actually was doing a lot of damage to us, so we had to end up putting it asleep a lot, but we eventually come out on top, and since we have Leftovers, it definitely helped us out as well. Next up is Growlithe who once again has Intimidate, lowering our attack, but it doesn't matter, we're still able to take it out with 1 Earthquake. And next up is Alakazam at level 35 who goes for Calm Mind. And after countless attempts, we finally beat our rival. Now that our rival's out of the way, next up is Giovanni. Giovanni leads off with a level 37 Nidorino who has Poison Point, but luckily Earthquake is not a contact move, so there's no way we could get poisoned through Nidorino and all of his other Poison Point Pokemon. Next out is his level 35 Kangaskhan who doesn't even go for a Fake Out, so we get a nice Earthquake off as he uses Rage, doing just a little bit of damage as 1 more Earthquake is enough to take it out. Next out is Rhyhorn at level 37 who goes down with 1 Surf, and last out is his Nidoqueen. Luckily we did have a super effective move for every single one of his Pokemon, so 1 Earthquake is enough to take out Nidoqueen. It turns out that Giovanni's actually kind of a pushover if he doesn't poison you. We then pick up our illegal Master Ball and head to Sabrina's gym. Since we have bad special defense, this battle did take a little bit to do. We're able to one-shot Kadabra with Earthquake, one-shot Mr. Mime with Earthquake, and one-shot Venomoth with Earthquake. Last out was Alakazam at level 43, and he definitely was the issue for this battle. Alakazam obviously outspeeds outspeeds us because he's an Alakazam, and he also hits super hard with Psychic, but luckily on this run we live with 10 HP and we're able to retaliate with an Earthquake, taking him out. That battle was a close one. We then travel to Cinnabar Island, pick up the secret key in the Pokemon Mansion, and also pick up the TM for Blizzard. I'm not really sure if we'll need this or not, but it's definitely nice to have. We then go to Blaine's gym, and the battle goes exactly how you thought it would go. Blaine leads off with a Growlithe at level 42 who has Intimidate and lowers our attack by 1 stage. I take this first turn setting up an Amnesia because these Fire Blasts that Blaine was dishing out done a ton of damage. We then go for Earthquake, taking out Growlithe pretty easily, and next up is Ponyta at level 40. We barely managed to outspeed Ponyta as we take it out with one more Earthquake, and next up is Rapidash. Rapidash hits us with a Fire Blast, not doing almost any damage at all as we take it out with a critical Earthquake, and last up is Arcanine. This is Blaine's second Intimidate user, and because of this we're not able to one-shot it in one Earthquake. It did do a lot of damage, but unfortunately we brought Arcanine in the healing range, so he does use a Hyper Potion, bringing Arcanine's HP back up to full as we do use Earthquake 2 more times, taking out Arcanine. That battle actually took a couple of attempts because the Fire Blast that Arcanine was doing did a stupid amount of damage. And last but not least is Giovanni, everybody's favorite gym leader. Giovanni leads off with a level 45 Rhyhorn who goes down with one Earthquake. Next out is Dugtrio at level 42 who hits us with an Earthquake, doing a little bit of damage as we're able to finish it off with one Earthquake. Next out is Nidoqueen at level 44 and we do take it out with one Earthquake as well. Next up is Nidoking at level 45 who hits us with an Earthquake, doing a good amount of damage, but we do retaliate and take it out with one Earthquake as his last Pokemon is a level 50 Rhyhorn. Wooper is an absolute beast and takes out Rhyhorn with an Earthquake as well, and I just realized we completely swept Giovanni's entire team with only an Earthquake. Next up is a rival, and I have no idea if we could do it or not. This took many attempts, but eventually we have a fantastic run. In an ideal run, you don't want to get hit with Feather Dance so you could actually hit Venusaur with a really strong Earthquake, but unfortunately that's not what happens in this run. I spam Surf on Pidgeot and he switches out for Venusaur as he misses his Razor Leaf as we do use Tion the previous turn and hit him with an Earthquake, doing a decent amount of damage as he falls asleep. So while he's asleep, this is our time to shine. We just have to cross our fingers and hope we could do enough damage with Earthquake, and it's a critical hit. Okay, well that was completely based on luck, and I do not expect to do that anytime soon once again. Our rival then goes back to Pidgeot and it does get taken out with a Surf after we get hit with a Wing Attack and not doing too much damage. And for some reason here I go for Earthquake instead of Surf so it doesn't take out Rhyhorn, as he does hit us with a Takedown, not doing much damage at all as we finish off Rhyhorn with a Surf. And like always, Gyarados is out and hits us with Intimidate, and we really do not have a good move against Gyarados, so we have to use our strongest water move and just hope it takes Gyarados down. It takes literally forever because the footage is playing at ×8 speed, but we take out Gyarados finally. Next out was Growlithe, who lowers our attack by another stage because of Intimidate, but we get lucky and get the critical hit with Surf, taking it out. Last up is Alakazam at level 47 who misses his Disable as we hit it with a Surf, doing a lot of damage as one more Surf is almost enough to take it out. He then misses his Disable once again and we do use Surf, taking out Alakazam and finally beating our rival. That was definitely a rough one. Now that we definitely seen the last of our rival and we'll definitely never see him again, it's time for Victory Road. Oh yeah, also, nice. We struggle our way past Victory Road like always, and it takes longer than it should have, but eventually we find our way out. To prepare for the Elite Four, we go ahead and grind all the way up to level 76 and then use all the rare candies we've been saving up throughout this entire playthrough. With that brings us to level 83. Not too bad, but we definitely could get stronger. Go ahead and let me know in the comments below whether you think we could do it or not. Let's do this. First up is Elite Four member Lorelei, who specializes in Ice type Pokemon. We end up getting hit with Ice Beam here, doing a ton of damage as we set up a few Amnesias, raising our special defense because the Ice Beam really hurt. I then use Tion trying to put Dugong to sleep, but we do bring it in the full restore range as Dugong does get healed up, it removes the drowsiness, and we finally take out Dugong after a few more Earthquakes. Next up is Cloyster, who is a physical defensive tank, but we end up taking it out in only 2 Earthquakes, and the same thing goes for Slowbro. The same thing happens to Lapras, and last up is Jinx at level 54, who does end up putting us to sleep, but as soon as we wake up, we take it out with an Earthquake. Unfortunately for the Bruno fight, I realized that we just simply do not have enough power point restoring items to actually get through the rest of the Elite Four with Earthquake. We're gonna have to go pick up a few PP restoring items before we do this. After coming back with a few PP restoring items, we now have enough PP on Earthquake to abuse Bruno. First up is Onix though, and he goes down to 1 Surf, and next up is a second Onix who outspeeds us, hits us with an Earthquake, not doing any damage, and we also take him out with 1 Surf. Next out is Hitmonchan and goes for Sky Uppercut and misses, and we hit it with an Earthquake, almost taking it out as Bruno uses a full restore to heal it back up. I use Earthquake one more time and it ends up taking out Hitmonchan, getting a lucky roll. Next up is Hitmonlee, who goes for Mega Kick, doing an okay amount of of damage but goes down to 1 earthquake. Last out was Machamp, but we actually outspeed this thing and hit it with an earthquake, doing a good amount of damage as it goes for scary face and misses, so we just take it out with 1 more earthquake. With earthquake PP, that was a pretty easy battle. Next up is Elite 4 member Agatha. For this battle, we're going in with double team instead of amnesia because we're not really using amnesia enough, and double team is just a really good move overall. Agatha leads off with a Gengar at level 54, and it usually uses double team, but for some reason it went straight offense and went straight for Shadow Punch. Luckily for us, Gengar misses the Toxic and eventually gives up trying to attack us and goes for double team itself. After setting up a few double teams, we end up going for Surf, surprisingly enough hitting every single time we attempted. After landing 2 Surfs, we get Gengar into the full restore range, which Agatha definitely takes advantage of. But we keep on spamming Surf and somehow we connect with every single Surf that we attempt, getting Gengar into the red again, finally taking it out. Next out is Golbat, and we don't have to worry about getting Toxic because Golbat actually does not have Toxic. So we're able to set up the rest of our double teams without much worry. Golbat desperately tries to hit us with something here, but ends up missing almost every single attack it tries. After getting all 6 double teams set up, we end up going for Surf, doing a good amount of damage. We use Surf 1 more time and it's just short of triggering the full restore range, so we end up taking it out with 1 more Surf. Next out was Haunter, and Haunter was a huge threat because it had Curse. If it hit us with Curse, we definitely had to reset as we would be dead in about 3 turns. Luckily, Haunter ends up going for Hypnosis instead, missing, and we're able to take it out in only 2 Surfs. Next out was Haunter level 58 and somehow hits a Hypnosis, putting us to sleep and then using Nightmare. It does take a few turns, but luckily Gengar misses the other attacks it's trying and we wake up and use Surf. Luckily it was a critical hit, but this Gengar does have a Citrus Berry as Haunter hits another Hypnosis and then goes for Nightmare once again. Now Nightmare is not an accuracy based move, so we do take damage every single turn, and Gengar ends up hitting a Shadow Ball and our health is slowly going away. With 31 HP left, we end up waking up, hitting him with a Surf, not quite taking it out. And of course Agatha has to use a full restore, bringing Gengar's health back to full. We do get super lucky though, and Gengar ends up missing the rest of its attacks as we finally finish it off with 1 more Surf. Agatha saved her Arbok for last because she knew 1 Earthquake was enough to take it out. After Arbok misses its bite, we hit it with Earthquake and take it out. That battle did take a little bit to do, but double team definitely helped us out there. Next up is Dragon Trainer Lance. Now Lance did cause a lot of issues, and this took so many attempts in order to win. Now like always, we really don't have an answer to Gyarados, so we just have to end up setting up a lot of double teams and using Surf and hoping it does enough damage. Like always, this process does take a very long time, considering we could also go down to Gyarados using Dragon Rage, since Dragon Rage is an extremely good move if it hits enough times. We get Gyarados down all the way to full restore range, and Lance of course heals him up, and we have to do it once again. I'm super lucky that we have leftovers here because it definitely is what saved us in this run. This is the funny part in this battle. Aerodactyl is out and we only have 1 Surf PP left, so if 1 Surf is not enough to take it out, then we really can't do anything. Now Aerodactyl definitely isn't a bad Pokemon, but it is weak to water, so we go ahead and use Surf, and it's just not quite enough to take it out. Now Aerodactyl of course is a rock/flying type, so we cannot hit this thing with Earthquake, and we have no more Surf PP, and we have no attacking moves left, so you know what that means. Literally with a little bit of luck on our side, we just ended up going through every single move's PP that we had to get access to Struggle. You may be asking yourself, but Tion, doesn't it make more sense to teach Wooper Ice Beam or Blizzard? And the answer is yes, but we did not go for that route. Once again, with a little bit of luck and the power of leftovers, we are able to get access to Struggle, using Struggle to take out Aerodactyl after a few turns. Once we finally took down Aerodactyl, next up is his Ace Dragonite. Dragonite is an extremely tanky Pokemon, and it can do a lot of damage if it actually connects. I end up fast forwarding through a lot of this because it's basically just the same thing. We end up using Struggle, taking out Dragonite and Dragonair, and his last Pokemon Dragonair also goes down to Struggle eventually. Just as I thought we were going to win, he gets healed up with a full restore as we do bring him right back down, and we finally take out Dragonair, beating Lance. With Lance finally out of the way, next up is the champion. Now of course we are out of PP, but we do have 2 elixirs left, so we use both of those on our Wooper here, and now we have full PP on every single one of our moves. Go ahead and make a PP joke in the comments. For this battle, in order to take care of Gyarados, we replace Amnesia for Toxic. I try my best to avoid getting hit with a Feather Dance, but unfortunately I do, lowering my attack by 2 stages, which is unfortunate. It takes a while, but with some luck I take out Pidgeot. Next that was Venusaur, who charges up for a Solar Beam, but luckily misses, and we're able to set up the rest of our double teams as well. Venusaur ends up missing every single Solar Beam it tries, and eventually it gets healed up, but we take it out with a critical Earthquake. Now with Venusaur out of the way, next up is Alakazam at level 57, who definitely can do some damage with Psychic. Luckily for us it misses, and 2 Earthquakes is enough to take it out. Now we do end up missing a couple of Earthquakes here because we did get sand attacked by Pidgeot unfortunately. But once we take out Alakazam, next up is Rhydon at level 59, who goes down to 1 Surf. With Rhydon out of the way, next up is Gyarados, who has Intimidate, of course lowering our attack once again. We actually have a move that does a lot of damage to Gyarados for once, but we end up missing the first couple times as Gyarados is for some reason going for Hydro Pump. We have Water Absorb, so I have no idea why Gyarados is going for Hydro Pump. It did take a long time to take down Gyarados, mainly because it did get healed up with a full restore, so we we had to toxicate it again and then use Surf. It takes forever, but eventually we do end up taking out Gyarados. Last but not least is his last Pokemon, Arcanine, at level 61, has Intimidate like always as we hit it with an Earthquake, and unfortunately we miss. Luckily, Arcanine misses its attack as well, as we do actually connect with an Earthquake, as he connects with a Flamethrower, and we connect with our last Earthquake, and just like that, we defeat the Pokemon champion. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure before you go to leave a like, and if you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe. This was a super fun run to do, and I hope you guys did enjoy like always. Like always, Professor Oak comes to congratulate us, but he says we left with Squirtle, which is not true whatsoever. Can we get a hashtag respect for Wooper in the comments? If you guys want to see a specific Pokemon done in a certain game, let me know down in the comments below, and I will make sure to take a look at each and every one of your comments. This was a super fun run to do, guys, and I hope you did enjoy. Once again, if you want to see more, leave a like. If you dislike the video for some reason, leave a dislike, and let me know what I can do better in the comments below. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed like always, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.